What it do? It's your boy, Illuminated D. And you know what I'm saying? We back with another one. The first thing I want to do is thank you to everybody who's liked and commented. And to all the subscribers, Pops and I want to let you know how much we really appreciate you. For you to come and spend your time with us and to consume the content while we understanding that you have busy lives, we want to thank you and bless. Well, family, just getting ready to take a drive, going to grab some food real quick. Just wanted to come and tap in with y'all and let you know on this Sunday, man, getting ready to move, getting ready to slide out. I ended up buying a crib out here in Georgia, and pretty much, you know, we stayed in the crib. We bought this crib as a testament to teach a hard lesson. It was supposed to work, you know what I'm saying? It was supposed to work out smoothly. Ended up not necessarily going how we thought it was gonna go. Me and my cousin, we ended up getting a crib, and we thought we were gonna be able to team up with a couple of other people. Bought like a mini mansion, and it didn't really work out the way that we thought it was gonna work out. You know, we had 3 people at first. My cousin, you know, he got into it with the person. They ended up having to leave. Then I tried to bring a person, and then they were cool. They were good. They were good on day one, but then they just they got a job on the first day of getting here. And then after like a week and a half, it was a temp agency. Pretty much they ended up getting let go. And then for some reason, they just couldn't jump back on the horse. You know what I'm saying? And it was sad because it was definitely one of my best friends. Real sad situation, but they weren't necessarily able to hold it down. So I would say the hard lesson is because the crib was a 6.1 interest rate, like I've been telling y'all for a while, super expensive. And it took a lot to maintain as far as like paying the actual mortgage of it, including the utilities. So we were dipping into like $3,400, and that wasn't even calculating like when things broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know things happen. So when things broke, you know, that didn't even calculate that. So I was really dipping, and I had to step outside of my box. You know, I had to step outside of my comfort zone. I started day trading, and pretty much, you know, we were able to survive it. We made it happen, and then we ended up getting comfortable and just kind of riding it out. My cousin came and talked to me and said, you know, like, he said, I'm tired of just grinding to survive. And, you know, Pops always says that. Pops always talks about, like, you know, you don't want to just survive, but you want to thrive, you know? And I ended up running across, like, this video on Instagram, and basically they were saying sometimes the things that we want, the people that we choose, you know, the place that we want to be in life, and sometimes, a lot of times it'll hurt us because we try and do it sooner than projected, you know what I'm saying? Like sooner than projected. So pretty much what it was saying was we were jumping levels when we weren't adequately prepared in order to sustain it. So I think that was like a major factor, but in sustaining it, it taught us some very hard lessons. Like my cousin, he doesn't work. He has his own business. He's a stylist. He's a hairstylist. One of the hottest in the city. Took him about, I would say, less than 8 months to get over 300 clients. So one of the hottest stylists in the city right now literally came into the city and took this mug over. As far as me, you know, I got a career, like I said. So us put together, us two, we were able to manage it and make sure that it was able to get done. But what we decided to do was, you know, we decided to go ahead and slide to another location. Now, I know my family always tells me, like, if you can't do it yourself, then it's better to not even do it at all. You should be able to do it yourself and maybe be able to sustain it yourself instead of having to depend on others. Now, what I'm learning in this economy, right? In this economy is that it's so much easier to get things accomplished when you team up. The military has taught me like something like super deep is that one mind is great. 2 minds is even better. but a plethora can get the job done 10 times faster compared to one person. Because one mind, you can only do so much. But where you can't do something, another person can pick up the slack on that other thing. And where they can't do something, another person can pick up the slack on that. And another person can pick up on the slack on that. So if we're all just high key looking at the interest rates, not even interest rates, sorry, but the rent rate. Because I got 2 properties. Well, really I got 3, but I got 2 properties. I'm about to sell one. And then my other property is doing really good. That's in Seattle, so that mug is hitting. Mug is doing a great job as far as the management company. But I would say, like, right now, as we look at the rental rates, it's so much easier to get the job done, right? So in my city, in my location specifically, I was looking for the lowest rates, right? Because my cousin was gonna leave, and the lowest rate that I was able to find, the cheapest one that looked nice, that looked good, was $1,200. That was the lowest rent rate that I could find specifically. No other rent rate was any lower than this. So I started talking to my cousin. I said, well, what if we team up? So then we found one that was like $1,600. And that showed that for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, they were going to charge me $1,200. But for 2 people, for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, at a $1,600 rate, that turned into what, $800. So I'm like, okay, cuzzo, tell me this. How do you feel about adding more people to the equation and making it even cheaper? So we started looking at the numbers, and you probably asked me though, well, why didn't you just do this with the house? Like, the problem was that it was still going to be roughly like $1,100 in order to keep the mini mansion. So it just kind of didn't make sense to keep the house, because most people, I'm not gonna lie to you, most people they just not feeling the price. You know what I'm saying? Either they couldn't afford it or they just weren't feeling the price. So it made people weary. So what we did was we decided to get a 4-bedroom, 4-bath apartment. And we started looking at it. I said, well, what if we do a 3-bedroom, 3-bath? And we were looking for townhouses. We were looking for all these different places, right? We ended up coming across this one location. They had a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. I found it on Zillow for like $1,650. They ended up removing it after I found it because I found it on Zillow. They honored it, but regularly it was supposed to be $1,900. But they honored it because I found it somewhere else where they didn't know that they had still had it posted. So we ended up getting it for $1,650. Pretty much, I did the numbers, divided it by 4. Roughly, it came out to be like $400 a piece. Now, the reason why I say this is because nobody's getting that price. Honestly, nobody's getting that price. And the reason why that is because you have to be willing to team up. You gotta be willing to team up with people in order to secure your success. This goes with anything, because if you're trying to do everything yourself, it makes it exponentially harder in order to accomplish a goal. Like, anybody will be willing to pay $400, right? But the problem was, right, is that the whole time we were in the crib, I couldn't find anybody that I liked enough to where I was willing to just move in with them. You know what I'm saying? There was a stipulation. There was always a stipulation. It was either me and my cousin do it, because I know my cousin has the ability to hold it down and to be able to pay his part. So I know no matter what, my cousin is a go-getter and he's hungry, and he's gonna make sure that if anything falls through, it's gonna be taken care of. And I know on my side, and he knows on my side, that if anything falls through, it's gonna be taken care of. We ended up coming in contact with 2 more individuals, like-minded individuals, positive individuals, motivated individuals, mentally want to be successful individuals who have goals, dreams, and aspirations, who want to be just as successful as us, right? So what we did was we presented them an opportunity and said, look, I think I've got an opportunity on the table. I think that we can all be, successful in this venture. Potentially we can all make, something great shape. So pretty much what we decided to do is we decided to team up a 4-on-4, 4-piece, and we ended up getting a great number, which was like roughly like $450 a piece, which is an amazing deal. And you can imagine how much you'll save, because that's only one time a month. So if you're only paying $400 a month, that's a beautiful thing. So what I want to do is inspire people today to not just accept the bare minimum, not just try to do everything yourself, not just try to be Superwoman or Superman all the time. You know, now if you got it, you got it. But if you don't got it, you don't got to sit and try to be Superwoman and Superman 24/7. You can get a good team, get people that you actually like, get people that are charismatic, that have the same energy as you, that want to be just as successful as you, and team up. You know what I'm saying? It's so much easier when you team up. And if everybody's making money and you team up, that means everybody thrives together. So instead of surviving, you can thrive. Because we all want to be successful and we all want to be somewhere in life. But in order to do that, you got to do something that you ain't never done before. And that's the reason that we doing this right here, right now. I hope this kind of opened y'all's eyes. I hope it inspired a few people to decide to like work as a team and stop trying to do everything yourself. Because if you try to do everything yourself, man, success is so much harder to get. I'm trying to tell you, it's so much harder to actually capitalize off the success, because you know what I'm saying, you gotta do everything by yourself, you know, everything. That means that you gotta do the paperwork by yourself. You gotta think for yourself. And don't get me wrong, it does make you smarter as a person, but I'm trying to tell you, more minds is better than one mind. More minds is better than one mind. So I want to tell y'all, be blessed on this Sunday, going into Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying? Wishing many blessings, much success. You know, want to give a moment of silence for the soldiers who lost their lives in order to make it possible for us to be here today. I just came to Waffle House, and you know, it wouldn't even be a Waffle House potentially if, you know, if we weren't, you know, the soldiers didn't do what they did, you feel me? So let's go ahead and give a moment of silence for them. Let's go ahead, respect, give our honors. Give our honors and show respect to the fallen soldiers who sacrificed their life for us to make sure that we can have freedom. Because I want to let y'all know that freedom is not free, and a lot of blood had to be shed in order for this to even be possible. So everybody be blessed, be safe, we out. Peace.